Boruto 2 Blue Vortex Chapter 22 shows Jura trying to kill Boruto and really going for it, but I just don't see Boruto dying in this next chapter. I don't see Jura actually succeeding in his goal to kill Boruto. So, is it going to be like a half victory? I guess he could get one of the thorn bulbs back or both of them back and then not kill Boruto, but that isn't exactly what he's there for. So, what happens if Jura loses? Like, what happens when Jura fails? You know, he tried to kill Boruto before. He snipe shotted him, but then Himawari healed him and everything was kind of okay. But my point is that, like, Jura's failures aren't failures. They're kind of more... they're a learning experience for him. And that's why I feel like every time he loses, or one of the Shinju loses, or they learn new feelings or emotions or ways of thinking, Jura also learns as well. And that's interesting to him. So this confrontation he's having with Boruto is teaching him a lot, really. That's why he was so experimental, or that's why he asked him like that random question, like, what is love? Because he's like asking out of pure curiosity, like trying to pick Boruto's brain outside of trying to get information about who his accomplice is, Kash and Koji, which Boruto doesn't give up. But then Boruto does offer his kind of idea about love, about how it's a flaw of humans, and Jura may be able to take that in. And amongst their fight, or during their battle, while Boruto's stalling to give everybody time to escape or leave or find a way to leave, there's kind of a... and I think there's kind of a way for him to grow from his losses more than he does from his wins. So if he kills Boruto here and now, then the story gets kind of boring, right? As Boruto continues to push against Jura, constantly confronting each other and battling each other and having to face one another, that's where things get really interesting. That's where Jura is able to learn more about himself and his wants and his needs and his like kind of desires, what he kind of personally is invested in, you know? Maybe he kind of sees Boruto as a strong rival to him, you know? He sees him as somebody that is not only his main target, like in Otsutsuki, that he can devour and change the whole world, but he's also somebody that has a unique perspective, and he doesn't know Boruto's entire story. He doesn't know that he's not just in Otsutsuki. His father was the Hokage. He was kind of... the whole world changed for him when omnipotence happened, right? Like, he doesn't know all the little intricacies, all the little in and outs of what's going on with him. So it's kind of interesting to see him learn more and more and more. Kind of like Naruto learning from his opponents, from his enemies, you know? It wasn't all Rasengans, you know what I'm saying? It was Talk no Jutsu. It was trying to understand or learn about your opponents, why they're doing what they're doing, you know? And I feel the same way about Jura. So Jura's failures aren't failures. They're just learning experiences for him. They're a way for him to figure out more about himself, about the world that he lives in. It pokes at his brain. It kind of gets him to understand things. So when he sees Matsuri crying or getting emotional about killing Konohamaru, that's a learning experience for Jura, considering he's, I guess, connected to all the other Shinju. But you know what my point is that Jura's doesn't fail. Like, if this doesn't go Jura's way, which I'm assuming it won't because it's Boruto, but if he loses or if he fails or only gets like a half victory, he also gained so much from that experience, from that battle, from that fight. He finds a way to stop Rasengan Uzuhiko for that to stop working on him. He probably figures out Boruto's Flying Raijin and that Boruto's Rasengan doesn't really do all that much damage. And all of those little in-betweens. Not to mention the answer to his question from Boruto that they'll never be anything more than trees if they don't feel love, or if they don't follow it or give into it, I guess, a little bit. You know what I mean? So, in the end, I'm just really curious that, like, even if Jura fails, he wins because he's gaining important knowledge. He's getting more and more curious about the world, and that just raises up more questions, wanting him to learn more and more and more about what's going on in Boruto's life, what's happening in the world itself, you know? How has it all changed? How has he changed? And in such a short amount of time, everything is so different now. So it's interesting to basically see how Jura really is in a good position here. Even though he may not kill Boruto, he still walks away learning something new and something important that is probably going to inspire his motivations moving forward after this. So we'll have to wait and see until then. Until chapter 23, we're going to be left in the dark here, but I imagine that Jura's not going to succeed in killing Boruto, and that something's going to happen to force Jura to either escape or for Boruto to overcome the battle somehow, some way. But we'll have to see until then. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Yeah,